Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. Well, welcome to the new year. Don't see too... Well, actually, there are a lot of people. I'm just a little spaced out. It's been a weird couple days for me. Not really Mandela-wise, but just kind of sleep-wise. I don't know about you guys. It's like the energies are different or something, because what's been happening, I go to sleep... and I feel like I slept for 8 hours, and I wake up and an hour has passed. So that's not bad, but it is a little confusing. And then the other thing that happens, though, is I just feel like I'm so deep and conscious in the sleep world, and I remember being like someone else. I don't know, like different people, just different ways of thinking, like in the character of the dream or whatever. And like then I have to like remember, I have to make this decision to remember to be this me and then wake up. So it's just strange. It's confusing to me the last few days. I feel a little extra spaced out, I guess. Yet kind of good too. So I don't know what's up. That's ever since I kind of recovered from that flu. It wasn't too bad. But I don't know. It seems like as I get older, the flus aren't as physically bad, but my brain was a little weird, and then I came out of it, and I kind of slept a lot during the flu. Not a lot, but, a little more than normal. And then I came out of it, and I went 24 hours without sleeping. Didn't feel too sleepy. That's weird for me. And then I had a day of 6 hours of sleep with these long dreamlike things that turned out to be only an hour. So yeah, weird. I don't know what to say. Things are weird, yet they're not. And I go to look for Mandelas, not much. I mean, like most of the Mandelas were just stuff I had last week. People on the sub, we're just talking about Mandelas from like 6 years ago and stuff. So I don't know. I actually took a nap right before the show. So that's not really helping me be wide awake. Again, it was like an hour nap. I felt like I slept 5 hours. You know how when you sleep 5 hours and then you wake up and you're kind of like, you got that sleep inertia? I have like 5 hours of sleep inertia. But, let's see. Joe Bloor, this week is effing off even more than usual. Yeah, I don't know. I have this stupid flu. So we had talked last week about germ theory versus terrain theory with flus. So we rented a room out on our house, and then I have the other guy who lived there a long time that lives in the side house, but everybody kind of sees each other, just passing by and stuff. So I actually probably picked up the flu first. I went to a party. Either we both got it at the same time, me and Dave, or I got it first and he showed it a little later. I might have got it first. So I got it about 12, 15 hours before he did. Then he got it. And then another 15 hours later, the third person got it. So it does really look like it follows germ theory, like, germs spreading around. We all got a mid-grade flu. What do I do for flus? I know for myself that if I smack the hell out of it with anti-inflammatories, it will go better. So I make sure that if there's any congestion, I take decongestants that I have learned from experience work for me really well. Whatever ones, like I use the Broncaid, works for me really well. I just make sure, though, no congestion gets in there. If I don't let it in there, then it's, not bad. Because once it gets in there and you're trying to get it out, it's hard. Then you can't breathe good. Then you can't rest. Okay, so rule 1, don't let any congestion get in the lungs. Check. The nose congestion isn't bad anymore because you've got these giant sinus canals in there. It's almost impossible, I think, to clog up in there now. But if you're clearing out the lungs, it keeps the sinuses open. So check. No congestion allowed in the lungs. Don't wait. Okay, that's rule 1. Rule 2, control the throat pain. If you control it, then it won't get all torn up. It won't hurt as much. You'll get rest. You'll get sleep. So I use aspirin. I use any anti-inflams that work for you. I have a numbing lidocaine spray I use on my throat. Try not to cough too much. Okay, so it's like treat the symptoms, but treat them hard. I do take a lot of aspirin or Tylenol or whatever works for you. But if I do all those things, then I usually have a pretty good, I wouldn't say great, but, it wasn't bad. So that's what I do. And I found that if I do all that, then I feel tired for a few days. Like, I felt kind of bad for one day, and then I just felt tired for another day, and then it wasn't bad. I mean, it's the flu. Nobody loves it, but that's what I do. I don't know if it's everybody, but I've just learned, like, just pounce on the symptoms and control it. And, do smart things like rest and things. Ginger, turmeric, garlic, lemon. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an artificial person, but the artificial stuff works good for me. And many years ago, the doctor prescribed light dose prednisone for throat problems, and I always use that now. But you have to get a prescription for that. Technically, I just do the same thing that I was shown the first time. I think I've had it on here that I think it's bizarre that works, because it is basically immune system suppressant. Why would an immune system suppress it? Help you recover from the flu, but yet it does. So it's bizarre. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I'll actually feel kind of good towards the tail end, because I'll be on all these anti-inflams and stuff, and the flu will be about stomped out, and I'll start to feel better than normal for a while. I don't do antibiotics. That's one thing I don't do. I have never found them to be of any use for me at all. I do the prednisone just enough to keep the throat thing under control. Just enough. And so I need to keep throat thing and congestion. The congestion, I use Broncaid for that, not prednisone, but yeah, so I don't know. Well, we're at New Year's, so that might be where the heck everybody is. There's a lot of different people, though. Jumping Ship, HD, Robinski T, Renee, Gerald, HD, General Sorrow. So there's people. There's just a little bit different people. Shari's not here. Logical Danger's in. Austin 108. Though, Rudy, there's a lot of people. I just didn't look preliminary. I was kind of looking over what's up with everybody. So yeah, I don't know. Everybody's getting it. It does just seem like it's been a little extra. I don't know. I have a feeling we're going to get another more strange year. I mean, you've got that earthquake in Japan. Everybody's got the flu. There's a lot of talk about people who got the unnormal amounts of deaths blamed on certain medical procedures. I did not get that medical procedure, so no problem there, but I can't help but notice that a lot of this stuff that they're blaming on the certain medical procedure that was pushed in recent years, everybody's getting it, though. Everybody's getting more flus. It just seems like, I don't know. Like, everybody's connected in that way. All right, so what is going on? Okay, maybe I should just start with this one. I don't know what to say about this one. Okay, it's been a while since we started talking about, that was years ago. 7 years now? It's hard to believe that it's been, 7, 8 years for the Mandela, for me, since I found out about it. And we noticed that the side of the head was kind of getting this flattened area here and muscle, and it just looked different around here, and it was kind of how do I even describe? I should actually just look at it. Okay. So my camera is right over the part where when I type, it shows up. So let me just pull it down there. That'll help. So I can't see what I'm typing, and it's surprisingly obnoxious. Okay. Don't want that. Can we have here? Maybe this one. Actually, really haven't looking at it that much, but in here we had noticed kind of this dent growing up in here, and kind of a big, there's a muscular structure that's been developing. That's kind of older now. It's interesting because there looks like there's a line. Is that a thing now, that there's a fissure right there at the eye socket? Now it kind of would make sense only because I've seen that with animals, that there's one there. With animals, right along the side of the eye, the two kind of overlap. There's one from the back and one from the front, and they go like that. I don't remember there being a like a fissure right there on that spot, though, for humans. It kind of looks like there's one there. Yeah, it looks like there might be one there now. Right there, here. Interesting. Okay, that's not very realistic. Yeah, it does look like there's going to be a fissure right there now. Let's see, what are they calling those now? Getting off on a total tangent here. Yeah, right here. It does look like there's one right here now. Ah, interesting. Okay. Okay. Anyway, that's a change. But, okay, so the point then that I'm attempting to get back to is this area grew, and we saw musculature here, and so I was hypothesizing that, okay, stronger jaw. It does look like the jaw was getting bigger. You can see it's got this triangle bit over, like this corner bit here. We saw it's getting really pointy here. Those are, it looks like there's areas for the muscle to kind of hang on to, and same in here. So it kind of follows that this shows eventually. I had not really thought of this. I'm thinking jaw right over here, but up here, these are attached to the ear. Okay, well, why do we need muscle up there? You know, I didn't really think of it, but apparently they're now saying that 1 in 5 humans can move their ear, like you're a dog or something. Now, I've kind of heard some mumblings about this in the last year or so, but, you know, it was kind of advertised as some kind of freak thing that some couple weirdos could do. And, but now, first of all, I got an image of it. Let me just turn off the sound of somebody doing it, which I wasn't able to do before. Here we go. I think it's coming up. There's the... horses. This guy's yammering on about animals, of course. I might have been in the wrong spot. All right, come on now. There we go. So there's somebody doing it. Now, I'm assuming somebody's not sticking their finger behind his ear and pulling on it. Apparently now the story, according to some sources, is that 1 in 5 people can move their ear, like voluntarily move it. The other reason I think this is kind of weird and a little bit freaked me out is maybe like 2 weeks ago or something, I just kind of felt like I had more consciousness of this idea. Like I kind of felt like, you know, like I heard a sound and I kind of felt like I wanted to swivel my ear over there. And since I don't have a swiveling ear, I was like, this is strange that I almost feel like I could direct my sound attention better. So then this comes up, like today. I'm like, all right. So if you look up this stuff, it's really vague because some places are saying 1 in 5 people can move them. Some are saying 1 in 5 people might have the potential to move them if they practiced. Other places are saying most people have those muscles to some extent, so they probably could, but you'd have to learn to practice. But then it doesn't say how to learn to practice. You'd think that, there'd be some kind of like, do this, and this is how you train your ear to move. But anyway, just weird stuff. Doesn't really make sense. I mean, it should... How do I say this? If this has always been here, then there should be whole stories about how to move your ear and how many people can move their ear. And, all right, let's see. Need to see a wiring diagram from eyes to brain, huh? The eye opening still weirds me out. Yep. Yeah, it keeps changing too. Although it does seem like a lot of the shifting has settled down on the brain changes. Chip blower. You're right. I did kind of say I was artificial. Uh-oh. They're going to grab that sound bite. Eva admits she's AI. No, I'm not AI. But I do, the artificial products do work well for me. A few of them. Yeah, I would say a few work great and the rest don't work worth crap. But over the years, I figured out which ones do work. So I think that's one thing I've really learned as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to be all natural. I'm going to rough it out. I'm going to handle it and do it the natural way. And I think when I got older, I'm like, I'm going to go do the way that works. And this is the way that works for me. I do think if I can get healthier, that would be the ultimate ideal. I do think that it's well, there's two warring concepts. I do sometimes think, okay, if I'm really healthy, I'm not going to get sick because I'll just kick those germs' butts. And there's some indication of that because the timing, I was just really run down from Christmas and kind of stressed out because right before Christmas, I have a lot of orders I got to shove out. And people do not want to wait for those orders because they're Christmas presents. So it tends to be a little stressful. And so I can get kind of stressed and run down, and that's when it kind of hit. So it might be that. Then I sometimes wonder, though, if like the whole shifting and all the things that the Earth's going through, and you see how sick people are getting, that maybe, that's part of the symptom of the whole development and dealing with everything. So I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? You can label it whatever you want, but I've been bringing this up for 2 years. I didn't know it was happening. I just wished I could move my ears and hear like my dog. Yeah, okay. It's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's almost like, even when I'm sleeping lately, I kind of feel like I was learning to move my ears in like a directional way, not physically, but mentally. Like I wanted to direct my hearing thoughts at specific things. I wanted to do that more. Like I want to be more directional in intent about what I hear, what I experience. So maybe that's, I know I'm getting really airy-fairy, so I apologize, but maybe it's all connected. Okay, so Ann Gaynor can already wiggle them. Michael Rusum. I don't know if I've just come into the timeline with the rest of you guys. I think ears, noses just get bigger as you get older. I don't know why that would be for survival. That, I've had that on. Like, for me, that was not a thing until recently. brain structure in your heart. Okay, I do know that we have neurons in the heart now. First it was the stomach, then it was the heart. There's neurons everywhere now. Yeah, and gut. So, like, now the question is, how do you train said ear function to operate? So, I'm actually trying to do it. I know how to, like, clench the ears, like, inside, but I'm like, when I send the message, like, something happens inside. I don't think they're moving. I'll have to play with that a little bit. You know, the story also with this show is like, it's like, oh, well, we don't need to move our ears because we can move our heads so well, you know, and then they're like, unlike other animals. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, other animals can't move their head? Like, my cat can't move its head? I mean, my cat can move its head. Okay, so the argument that the reason we can't move our ears is because we're so much better at moving our head just didn't make any sense to me, but nothing really makes sense anymore. I mean, like, if you really listen to the stories, and a lot of these I used to nod my head, oh, okay, speaking of head nodding, but now when I really look, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. My cat can probably swiggle his head around faster than I can. It's so cold in Southern Cal. It's been a little chilly, yeah, but normal for this time of year. Yeah. I am healthier this year, so I don't feel the cold like I did. Like, there was a few years where it felt bitter. And then I started taking my vitamin Bs and stuff, and suddenly I wasn't nearly as cold. All right, so that was one bizarre thing. Most of these mutations we covered last time, but this one was a little bit something here. Vibrosal capsular muscle. You have vestigial muscles that move the whiskers of your ancestors. So apparently now also we have and I was trying to find out what this even means, but we, like, you know how mice and stuff can wiggle their their little hairs. Well, I don't know. Apparently we have they're saying that we have the vestigial muscular structure for that. At least some of us do. So can we, like, what would we be wiggling if we did wiggle that? It's not really clear right now, but I've been, like, looking into this vestigial stuff for a while, and I don't remember seeing this one. I had heard of the ear one, but it was like some kind of freak thing, and now it sounds like a lot of people can do it. But now this new one, this vibrosal capsular muscles. So are we going to be able to wiggle our hairs? It could come. What was it? A long time. It was years ago that Mandela Affected Channel noticed that you can kind of stick it. You can, like, pull in your nose. Like, so you know how rabbits kind of go, humans can do that now. You can just kind of suck it in a little bit. And I guess everybody can do that. I don't even know what that's called, but he noticed that, and it is doable. So we're kind of getting more sophisticated. It's interesting. We're getting more sophisticated, but really we're getting more like these animals that are more skillful in movement. So as much as they're saying that this is vestigial, the truth is the opposite, that it's coming into reality. At least for me. Okay. All right, some reason I have that over here. Let me put you live stream over there. Rocket stove, don't use cement. Let's see. Are you talking about Quantum of Consciousness stove? So Quantum of Conscious channel, he's been making these Russian stoves, which is a whole bunch of bricks. And then the smoke travels all around and heats all the bricks. And what's good about it is those bricks, it takes a while to heat them, but they stay hot a long time because there's a pile of them. And because the smoke goes a long way, it kind of, most of the heat gets grabbed out of that smoke. It doesn't, like normal stoves, it just shoots out the window right away. But this is designed to capture all the heat. So imagine you're freezing in Siberia, you're not on the grid. You want every molecule of heat out of that wood because you just had to go out and cut it down. So, and they just do it with these fancy bricks. Now, well, fancy meaning a nice style. So Quantum of Conscious has been playing with this. And this is really interesting because I also discovered this a couple years before, like a couple years ago. And I was also really watching it. And I couldn't find much info at the time, but now you can. So it's suddenly there's all this. I really do have to wonder if it's sort of coming into reality. But what's neat is, you know, you can take a little bit of wood and heat the place all night, which is nice. So he's been stacking bricks and trying all these different ways. And he hasn't even been cementing them, I don't think. So a little bit of smoke comes out in spots, but if you get a nice, good draft going, then it isn't too bad. And he's mostly experimenting in the garage anyway. So one would guess that once he gets a style he likes, then he's going to kind of cement it in a little bit. I've been watching, though. I've been watching with interest, definitely. So he'll get like 100 bricks. You have to get certain kinds of bricks. You can't just get any old bricks. And he's been experimenting with different styles. So you can make a small one with like 100, 130 bricks or so. Well, they have some kind of, I don't know, mortar or something that they use. It's not really cement, but the stuff that goes in between the bricks. And you have, so one of the things he's been trying to do is learn what bricks are necessary for that job and what mortar and those kind of things. And it's been a little hard because most of the stuff's in Russian. So I think he finally got a hold of somebody who would kind of translate some for him, but I've definitely looked at that. I'm in California, so I'm not going to freeze to death, but it would be kind of cool to have, but yet they're kind of ugly. And I have to find a way to vent it outside. Yeah, I was reading about that mewing thing. Mewing jaw. So you do this weird thing with your tongue, and it's called mewing, and it's supposed to strengthen the jawline and pull over time, convince the lower, the chin to come out more, so you would have a stronger chin. But then you'd have to do it for, like, if you're old, you'd probably have to do it for years to get an effect. I don't know. I really haven't seen any clear before and afters. Maybe that'll come into the timeline at some point. But there's people online doing it, swearing by it. But they're all young people whose jawline would be developing anyway, and then with the filters and all that, I don't know if any of it's real currently. So yeah, but I don't know. It might be coming into the timeline. I think it's still a little questionable at this point, but give it a little time. All right, so I think that's all the latest vestigials coming in. All right, a couple weeks back, maybe a month back, we had that weird volcano lightning where the lightning was like kind of shooting out of the volcano. For me, it's weird because the lightning now used to be like it just go boom, boom, and it acted like lightning. Now it's like more, I know it is electrical, but it just acts so different now that I just feel like it's a whole different thing. And, so I guess we have this, I believe I've had it on before, but I'm seeing a lot more of it. Upside down lightning. And there was a lot of weird lightning in this clip, so I'm just going to cover it. So there's the upside down lightning. What gets me though, it's like it's bursting out of the ground now, you know? I mean, like it used to be one zigzaggy that would either come from the ground up or the sky down, and then the storyline would keep changing. But now it's like this barfy volcano coming out, and so I just don't recognize like this kind of lightning. Now, where is it even hitting? Are these hills up here, or is it just coming out of the middle of the sky? Because that's also confusing me. I've seen a number of these, and they all just kind of start somewhere. Like, I can't tell if that is even on the ground or not. All right, so that's weird. Now, maybe... is it that there's power lines here or like antennas or something? Okay, so that was weird. And then we have this. Okay. The lightning is just getting weirder and weirder with like this. You'd think there's a tree there and that it just keeps going down the same tracks over and over. I mean, first it would just hit. Like in my old timeline, you have one hit. And then it would be like hit, or like a couple zaps. But now you've got this whole Christmas tree light show where it's lighting up different parts of the Christmas tree over and over again, and the whole thing. And then I'm like, welcome to Christmas. It's just getting bizarre. I mean, there was a part where it was sort of slowly changing, and now it's like suddenly it's just alien. So here we go. Here, what is this? What is going on with this? It's lighting different amounts over and over. I'll do some over here. How about some over here? It's like when you have the Christmas tree and you have it programmed to light the different lights at different times, kind of randomly. All right. I think that was all the weird ones I really wanted to cover. It was this one, though, this was the other weird one. What is going on here? Like it's growing the tree or something? Like, and then segments stay lit, but the tops don't, but then it's, what? Okay. I don't get it. I think that was all the, all right. I think that's all the weird. Those first two. Physics has changed. That's all I have to say. Very much changed. Somehow it just seems ripe for Christmas, though. It's a Christmas tree. Hesdalen Lights, Norway. I know I've had those on before. Hesdalen. So for me, way back, they were just a legend. You know, you'll see like one blurry photo of one light, and then someone said, oh, it's probably just a Jeep in the distance. But now, apparently, it's pretty much established as legit. These Hesdalen lights. There's a bunch of lights. They've been researched. So there's not really a question that it's a thing anymore. You see, look, they're really... sophisticated. I mean, well, I don't want to say that, but they're complex enough that it's not like some headlight on the side of the mountain. And there's different places where these happen now also. Not just Hesdalen, so... Aurora Borealis in Ogden, Utah. Yeah, I know. It's coming down. It's coming down, so we're all going to get it. So for me, it used to be just the northern lights. And then suddenly there was also southern, like Australis lights showed up. And then they're just like, oh, there's a huge extra storm and it's, you know, the top of California got it. And that used to be, you never got it in the United States. There was never. So I'm just waiting. I mean, I'm like way in Southern California, so I might have a little bit of a wait before I get to see them, but they're coming. They're coming. All right. This one is maybe a little esoteric, but Pine nuts. All right. I have never heard that there'd be any problem eating pine nuts. I eat pine nuts. They're tasty. So it's just little nuts off of pine trees, like specific pine trees. I actually looked into planting a pine tree for these pine nuts. And we didn't end up doing it because pine trees are such a fire hazard here. But I never heard of this, but there's apparently this thing called pine mouth that some people get if they eat pine nuts. And so a few days after you eat the pine nuts, you get a bitter, metallic, unpleasant taste that can last for days to weeks in your mouth. Like nothing gets rid of it. It just finally goes away on its own. It does not have any apparent side effects other than it tastes bad. Then there's like, they don't know what causes it. Why doesn't it happen right away? That's the one thing. You know, normally if you get a nasty flavor, it's right away. But so what's in the pine nuts that makes things taste weird like 3 days later? I've never heard of this, and I can't really figure out how common it is because there's no info on it. And it's all kind of, well, it could be any nuts. Oh, no, it's only raw nuts. It's more raw nuts. Maybe it's raw nuts from China. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know, but there you go. So it's kind of a weird little thing, but I really am really suspicious that wasn't there before. Pine mouth. Pine is an interesting thing anyway, though, because there's so many... You get food from pine trees. You get so many antibiotics from pine trees. Cleaner. Just some very interesting botanical uses for pine. Ever seen standing lightning? Yeah, it's like it's like its own volcano. I don't. So what was that? Was saying that? Oh, Texas upside down lightning. Upside down lightning. Everything's upside down now. I've been hearing about green lights from NASA. I do not know green lights from NASA. Let's see if we can. Green lights, NASA. NASA satellite spots green light that quickly disappear. That was 2019. X-ray light, such as green and blue spots. Within days, the blobs had disappeared. All right, gets green light. Green lights. All right, now this is all 2019. NASA satellite spots a mystery that's gone in a flash. All right, all 2019. Mysterious in deep space, can't quite explain it. Okay, yeah, I don't know if that's what you guys are talking about, but it's 2019 right now in the current timeline that showed. I think the skies used to be magenta. So for me, it was pitch black, and then it turned really light, and then it was always been gray, almost blue some nights. Always been. I became allergic to most tree nuts, I think from the Pocades. Yeah, I don't know. It does just seem like people are just weirdly becoming allergic to anything. I do kind of think that we might be basically moving away from so much food consumption, and that might be part of it. So the allergies to meat, allergies to gluten, allergies to pine, fructose. There's all these intolerances. It's almost like you're getting squeezed out of food. I do feel like people eat less. I mean, the days are so short, so you don't really need to eat as much. I mean, I used to eat 3 meals a day, and you'd be hungry if you didn't eat 3 meals a day. And then after a while, 2 meals was plenty. It seemed like you're eating all the time if you eat 2 meals a day. So, because the days are so short. pink fog. So when I come home from work sometimes, I've definitely noticed the fog is getting more creepy. Like in the mornings, it'll just sit on the ground. Just the top couple feet of ground will have fog. And it'll be in little spots. It used to be an area would have fog, but it wouldn't be just 2-3 feet of an area. It'd be, kind of patchy, but it's gotten like really patchy. Like I almost feel like there was somebody burning something, because I'm like, why is there it's just right there? But no, it's just some kind of weird fog. Allergies to bee stings. Allergies to everything is a lot worse. Yeah, one meal is kind of enough now, and that would not have been the case before. Maybe a meal and a snack. Yeah, I know Matt's into those two colors, like, I guess, I don't know what to say. I mean, there's definitely colors that get more popular and then less popular on different years and different times. And so Matt is trying to, like, discern what this means for, like, reality. And I don't know, like, the more you stretch into those, the more you're really, really guessing, I feel like. Who the heck knows? So while I'm not against it, I just feel like it's so subjective, those things, that I'm just less likely to go into the area, because you're just stretching your brain so far. And I have seen that I'll come up with one interpretation and somebody else will get the exact same evidence and they'll come up with a whole nother interpretation that really is thought through as good as mine. It's just a totally different one. So there's so many ways to interpret things. Okay, where are we here? All right, those guys. What is that cat? All right, we'll do that one first. I had to have something for the thumbnail, of course. I don't remember these. This one was the one that showed up on Reddit, so it really caught my attention. It looks like he's a cracked out cat, man. So there's this rare cat, Borneo Bay cat. There's always more cats. And they're just kind of a little bit monkey cat-like. Like, look at that. So that's the thumbnail, I believe, there. Is it a monkey or is it a cat? Can't decide. It's got this... Unlike a lot of the cats are getting bigger and bigger ears, but this guy's got this small ear. It almost looks kind of a little bit human-like, monkey-like or something. I don't know. Then the head is kind of small. Like, I don't know. To me, it looks like this was photoshopped together. Like, I feel like they took a head off of some other small cat and then stuck it on a monkey, and then it just doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and then this one, like, what happened to this poor cat? I don't know. So that's the new guy. This one looks a little better here, although he looks kind of drugged out. But so that's for me, a new kitty called Borneo Bay cat. Bay cat. Catopuma badia. Reality is running out of names. Also known as Bornean Bay cat. Small wild cat endemic to the island of Borneo. Is rare. What they're saying, there's a couple thousand of them. Only been a few ever seen. Blah, blah, blah. So... yeah. New kitty. I like kitty cats. There's more NASA lights. How could I find Matt from Quantum of Conscious? Let's see here. should have him under here somewhere. Here. Quantum of Conscious. That's him. So he just talks on and on about all kind of crazy stuff. Trying to interpret the crazy reality we're in. So we don't always see eye to eye, but I do notice that we kind of end up heading towards the same direction a lot. And he does, one of the things I like about him is that although we kind of come at things from different areas, and I think he's definitely comes at it from a more negative perspective than me, but he ends up noticing a lot of the same trends that I do. So it makes me feel a little more confident that the trends I notice are accurate, because he is not of my exact belief system, yet he still sees the same things. Like, he may interpret it different. Often it's sort of in the same direction. We're like, what? This is happening. I just see all this. And he's over here completely off of left field in a whole different area of thought going, I noticed this. And it's the same thing. It's the same trend. So that's one of the reasons I like to watch him. Also, I do like to just listen to people without having to look, because then I can be working. And he'll talk on and on, but you don't have to like watch. So I like that also. Every now and then there might be something where I'll peek at the screen, but he mostly talks. He doesn't do a lot of visual. He's just kind of winging it. Does anyone remember Madonna in a 1979 movie, A Certain Sacrifice? I don't think so. 1979. I do remember her in this one movie, but I don't think it was that. It wasn't A Certain Sacrifice. Someone got stung by a bee and she bloated to the size of Michelin Man Pillsbury Doughboy. Wow. I guess it's possible. I used to get stung by bees and like it would just be like ow for 5 minutes and there'd be a little lump. That was it. And everybody I knew was like that. Ow for 5 minutes. No big deal. Unless you had an allergy, like a special allergy, which was rare, there wasn't going to be a problem. But now I have noticed that, like, everybody, it's not just me, has more problems. So I actually am a lot more paranoid about getting stung now, because I get stung and the whole area is swollen for like 3 days, and it's really super itchy, and it's just really obnoxious. And I do have my anti-inflams like DMSO and stuff that really help, but it's like it's starting to become a big hassle now. And before it was just a minor thing. And like, so Dave, he actually worked with bees lots of times, and he does get stung a lot. And he got stung many, many times through his life with just like, yeah, so what, I got stung, and now he's also, like, last time he got stung, his face swelled up, and so he was all surprised, and then I was reading on it, and they're like, oh, well, if, they've been overwintering, their poison might be more concentrated, and then, I don't know. It seems like they're packing more of a wallop is all. I mean, I would say maybe it's just me, but it just seems like it's everybody and the stories of it. And I'm not specially allergic to bees. So, it's not like I have this extra weird allergy or anything. And neither is Dave, and neither is anybody else. So, yeah, they're packing. And they act different, too. Like, they really used to be you just get stung by one, but now they're all... like, one hits you, and then it drops those pheromones, and then they all come in like heat-seeking missiles, and that didn't used to be such an issue at all. Okay. Got rid of you, kitty cat. All right, speaking of bees, sapioid last week. A lot of these are from last week that you guys found that I just didn't get to. So, remember all that fear porn about how we're going to like run out of bees? This is why I am not listening to any more fear porn about the environment. Remember all those years, the colony collapse disorder. We're going to run out of bees. There's going to be mass famine because they need the bees to fertilize the orchards and the crops, and everybody's going to die. And and now where are we? The latest is there are too many bees. Too many bees. You bad people. There's too many bees. You can't make this stuff up. So the story now is that we have made too many domesticated bees. They're driving out the native bees. Oh no, the native bees. Honey bees. I am not worrying about this crap anymore. There's too many bees. A rise in hobby beekeeping. Now a trendy activity for thousands of Americans. Remember, we were all going to die. Now there's too many bees. People mistakenly think keeping honeybees or helping honeybees is somehow helping the native bees. No, I didn't think that it was helping the native bees. Now you have to feel guilty for, like, ruining the environment by keeping bees. That's the latest spiel. Like, I am not listening to the guilt trips anymore. But good find, sapioid. Where's the killer bees? Oh, those yellow jackets are the worst. Oh, they're so mean. So yellow jackets are actually a wasp. And they usually nest in the ground. And they're just mean. So even if you're just kind of near, sort of hanging out, in a situation that a regular honeybee would probably not mess with you, they will attack. And I've noticed they just hurt. Like, the poison hurts a lot. And since they're a wasp, they can just sting over and over. They're nasty little things. And they're the ones that get on your picnic table and steal your food and stuff. And they'll also come and they'll eat bees. They'll, like, carve up bees and eat those, also like honeybees. Nasty little things. I mean, I hate to say it, but when we had some yellow jacket nests, and we killed them because they were attacking everybody. They attacked my mother, she attacked me, and they attacked the dog, and they're just, and then they spread, and it's like, no, we're not doing this. Okay, so now there's too many bees. All right, you guys, anybody here from Virginia? Your flag. I don't know, like, how I got to my current age without knowing your state flag has something on it that I just don't think would have been in my original timeline. Now, I can't swear to it, but I don't see how this could have been. I came from this prudish timeline. And obviously, I've landed in a timeline that's way less prudish. So what's up with your flag over there in Virginia? Did you always have a boob sticking out on your flag? I'm afraid to open it too large because I don't know, maybe there's a strike somewhere in here. Even though this is supposed to be kidsbritannica.com, is it safe to show this flag? So, maybe this was a man before or something. Like, that would make more sense if it had been a male. but it is now supposedly a female. So I kind of wonder if maybe that's what it was, you know, like this kind of dress wouldn't have been weird if that had been a male, but it is a female currently. And there's a boob sticking out. Like, what? Hello? The flag consists of the obverse of the seal against a blue background. So there was some kind of weird story, was it? A standing allegorical female figure of virtue. Of virtue! Yeah, okay. Is shown having vanquished tyranny, symbolized by a fallen king at her feet. She has an exposed boob in the manner of classical depictions of Amazons. I have missed this classical depictions of Amazons with boobs sticking out. I was not made aware. I missed the memo. Making this the only state flag in the U.S. depicting a form of nudity. The motto, Sic Semper Tyrannis, thus always to tyrants. The flag may be decorated with a white fringe, blah, blah. Let's see. The seal makers did not want a design which in any way resembled the seal of coat of arms used in Great Britain because of the admiration of the Roman Republic felt by the Virginian leaders. The design of the new seal was taken from the mythology of ancient Rome. Somewhere I was reading that like she originally had a breastplate and they said, oh, that's too masculine looking, so we're going to have her boobs sticking out. I mean, they didn't say it exactly like that, but it basically came out like that. Like, we don't want her to look masculine, so have that. I mean, like, the whole story was weird. It was a man before standing on an Indian. Okay. I just couldn't believe that was on there. I'm sorry. A man standing on an Indian. Interesting. Yeah, the whole Roman thing is kind of weird anyway. I mean, we weren't that Roman. And what is this thing here? Like, looks like she's holding a giant rocket or a pencil or something. I mean, like, what is that even supposed to be? Actually, I probably should just check. What is it supposed to be? What is that thing? Because, I mean, like, that's not a sword. All right, so you got, like, some kind of pike thing here. All right, but... And then there's it's like a giant pencil. I mean, like, you don't carry your stuff like that. If you had a sword, it's like that. I've never seen that style of even holding anything before. Broken chain in his left hand, a scourge in his right. What does she have now? Resting on a spear in her right hand. Okay, that's the spear. Point downward, touch the earth. And holding in her left hand a sheathed sword. Or perizonium pointing upward. So that's supposed to be a sheathed sword. That's weird, because, I mean, like, if you have a sword, you carry it like that. I don't. I don't see how you carry a sword like that. The current iconography of this reality is confusing me. Killer bees were fearful when I was a kid. Yes, there was a constant drumbeat about they were going to come and start stinging everybody to death. So, you know, that's just one of many situations where I'm like, I'm over it. I'm not listening to the news. They don't like it when you weed over the top of their nest. You're talking about those hornets, the yellow jacks. See, the thing is, I wasn't that near. I was like 15 feet away watering. I wasn't doing any weeding, and they still attacked. They were just mean, and they just had to go. She's holding a salami sandwich. I swear it's a giant pencil. It does not look anything like a sword. I feel like it's going to change. I feel like that could be anything, but it looks like a pencil. She's standing masculine. Yeah, I don't... Though, so, like, this whole female thing is kind of going backwards in time, and then the nudity thing, and then the, But, I mean, like, the storyline behind it is kind of flimsy. Anne Gaynor, if you know, that sounds way more... That sounds like something I might have seen in my timeline was, like, you know, some man standing over a Native American. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's... I would see that as more likely. All right, so yeah, Virginia, what happened to you? All right, what else we got here? We got that. This one was interesting. Jay Emblin found this one. Apparently in Texas, the hissing mushroom has come back. I bet you didn't know it was missing. Here comes the hissing mushroom. I couldn't find any video of the hiss. I think we might need another year or two to get to the hiss. But the Texas star mushroom. Does that not look fake? It looks like some kid cut that out like in art class, and it's made out of foam or something. But that's how a lot of fungus is these days. Sometimes known as the hissing mushroom, was just found at Inks Lake State Park. Texas Parks and Wildlife says when the mushroom expands, it releases a hissing noise and a hazy cloud of spores, similar to the fungus that turns people into zombies in the show The Last of Us. Okay, so now we know where the concept came from. It came from that show. While luckily it won't cause any type of apocalypse, it is rare and has only been found in Oklahoma, Japan, and Texas. There was a sighting of one, blah, blah, I don't know. Anyway, so the point is it's like back or something. I found this like 2 weeks ago because our friend Jay Emblin said it, and it kind of sounded like they thought it was extinct like 2 weeks ago, and now I'm reading it and it kind of sounds like, oh, we found another one resurfaces. So I'm like, did I read it wrong, or did it kind of shift since then? Things are moving so quickly. Devil's cigar mushroom spotted in Texas. All right, so it's also known as the devil's cigar. Interesting. So it just kind of happens to look like a little bit like a star, like Texas, likes. It's kind of their symbol. All right, so, yeah, I don't know. Then Jay Emblin found this other one, Weird Spider. I'm kind of just going through a bunch of old ones now. Ones I didn't cover before. So apparently these things are showing up everywhere, invading Georgia. The invasive species spreading across the U.S. Now, it's weird because, like, the current story is, but even though they're invasive, it's fine. They're not really hurting anything. Yeah. It's kind of weird because usually when there's an invasive thing, there's just this automatic hatred of it. Like pepper trees kind of spread a lot around here, and the local wildlife people are like, I must eradicate. But there's not a lot of them. They don't really hurt anything. And they're like, yeah, but it's non-native. But suddenly it's fine if it's Joro spiders, apparently. They look all creepy and weird. And I've noticed that spiders around here are getting a lot of these banding on the legs. So they just look more creepy. And they have longer legs, longer and longer and longer. Took hold in Georgia before spreading southeast. Don't pose a threat. Expect the spider to continue spreading north. They're known as orb weavers. Are they dangerous? We have no evidence that they've done any damage. It's unclear how they got here. But they're big and creepy looking. And invading Georgia and everywhere. So you see they have this weird big bright butt. Like many of the new creatures now, there's a huge range of colorations. So this one has a lot of black. This one has a lot of yellow. This one has a lot of red. And they're big. I haven't seen these things yet. I have noticed a lot of spiders have the banding on their legs here now, but I haven't seen these giant butt ones. Now, in the old days, if something had a giant bright butt, you'd think that it was poisonous, but apparently these aren't. At least not yet. Yeah, see, they're not, though. They said they're not Joro spiders. They're orb weavers. So now, like, what's the point of being bright if you're not even going to be poisonous? Yeah, face huggers. I don't. I was like, you know, you come home and it's maybe dark out, and then you're walking, and then all of a sudden there's spider web on your face, and then you're like, what kind of spider is attached to the web? Is it on my face? I don't know. I'm not super phobic of spiders, but, you know, like, I don't want them on my face. All right, got that one. This is kind of a weird little spelling one. But, so, liver cirrhosis, not a very pleasant topic, but how do you spell cirrhosis? No cheating, just from memory. I feel like the way you spell cirrhosis has changed. I'm quite positive I knew how to spell cirrhosis before. It wasn't that hard. All right, so I believe that's changed to many. Joro. Do I have anything on that? Oh, I do have some on that. No, I did that one already. I think I only have one left. Not psoriasis. Cirrhosis, that's like when you... alcoholics drink too much and they get liver cirrhosis. Psoriasis is that skin problem. So for me, cirrhosis, I'll type it in how I remember it. I remember cirrhosis as like this, cirrhosis. So I was pretty surprised the other day when it's cirrhosis now with an H. Cirrhosis. There I am sure there was not an H. Cirrhosis. It's complicated now. Cirrhosis, it made sense before. I mean, this is kind of a problem that a lot of people have, so I've typed this many times, and it was not cirrhosis. You can see I'm trying to, let me just force it to be the old spelling. Yeah, it's not even... interesting. It's in Spanish, okay. But there's not even any residual. Dang. I am so sure there was not an H, though. It's not cirrhosis. Okay, last one. You know, I don't have a lot today. And I'm burning through them. And I'm not talking that much. I know you guys are going on and on about some god stuff, and I have lost the thread of the plot, so I can't really chime in here. Okay, you remember how Perliminal said. Okay, with a C. I'll tell you one thing. There was no H. There was no H in cirrhosis. Okay, Monty remembers the H. Oh, okay, you guys aren't talking about the ME. Interesting. So a lot of people remember SC. I remember CIRR. CIRROSIS. I'm sure it was CIRR. It certainly wasn't H, I'll tell you that. This is the one thing I'm positive, because now it's got a whole nother flavor because it's now Hosis. So we agree on that. Except for Monty. Monty's getting voted off the island for remembering the H. All right. Last one. So it's not like I haven't looked at this before. And we've seen how much this keeps changing, but God, it even looks like it's changed since I looked at it last time. Crimea. So, you know, there's been events going on there for some time. And I'm looking at Crimea, and this is Crimea, and I'm like, what? I don't recognize it. It didn't look like a hungry fish with a tail before. I don't remember this. This is Ukraine. I don't remember this dingleberry down here either. And it wasn't that long ago that I looked at it, and that wasn't right. Here's Crimea again. So if you'll recall that Russia had taken over Crimea some years ago before the current crisis. But it wasn't like, see, it looks like one of those angry frogfish or something now. This wasn't here. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so the storyline before, wow, has changed. The storyline before was that there was just one main way. There was, Crimea had like this one attachment to Ukraine, and that was the route where water and everything would come through, and Ukraine had cut it off, and because of that, Russia had a heck of a time getting water in here, or supplies to Crimea, because they didn't, this wasn't like this here. Now there's like a pretty good access. And then over here, there's all these routes, and there's this one, this. That wasn't all there before. There was just like this one. And so it's definitely a lot more complicated now than it was. So I'm just, that wasn't that long ago either. I'm just like, what? All right, so here's, so that's Ukraine. There's Crimea. What's this? I mean, Ukraine didn't have this. It looks like it's got, it grew a Florida down here or something. So I'm confused. It wasn't that long ago that I looked at Ukraine. See, this, what is all this? What is it? So that's about right. Maybe it's still a little off, but this, there was no this. And then here, Russia, like, reaching out its little clutchy paws towards Crimea. 2014. It was, yeah, that's about right. 10 years ago. So part of the reason I even looked is because there had been all these storylines. Okay, Russia would like to get, certain access to Black Sea and the port. And then I had looked at this before and went, yes, they want access to this port. And now I'm looking at it, I go, but they already have access to this port because they have access to the whole Black Sea. They don't need Crimea and all that anymore. But they did at one point. That storyline made sense when the map was different, and they wanted to get, like, this whole thing is all shifting. It's making me crazy. Like, you hear a story and it all makes sense, and then 3 weeks later, it doesn't make sense. And I mean, people are still going around all over Reddit saying Russia wants to get a port on the Black Sea. And that totally made sense some months ago. And now, well, look, you could have a port, I guess now the story would be like they need a good port. But they could put something in along here now. They couldn't before. So that's the other reason I think it's changed. Because the story stopped working. Yeah. Continental drift. Continental shift. We're renaming it. Yeah, Hornet's Nest. If you can get your hands on diazinon, you will get rid of that hornet nest. It's just hard to get that anymore. And I don't use it for any old thing, but I will use it for hornets. And what I do is you mix the diazinon water in like a old milk jug. And you wait before a big storm. It's going to rain. And you go like right after dark with this jug, and you sneak out to the hole, and they're kind of quiet in there after dark, and you just upend it over the hole, bloop, and then run. Now they'll shoot out of the hole, but they'll shoot into the milk jug. So then you just book out of there, you're done. So this milk jug is going to dump diazinon water down into the nest. And then when the storm comes, like in the morning you can kick that jug off, but because it'll be drained, but the storm is going to like soak it in deep, and that nest will be gone. And at least it's worked every time we've done it. We've taken them out every last time. And it's reasonably safe. I mean, nothing's perfect when dealing with hornets, but I really probably should just pull up Google Earth and see, since we have so much time. It does seem like we always have shifts around Christmas time, New Year's. And maybe, we just expect to, and that's part of why. I mean, it's just thought processes tied in with everything. Wow, that came up so quickly. Starts at Antarctica. Why do I have to see these clouds? Look at that. They're making it hard to get rid of these effing clouds. Now I have to zoom in even tighter than last time to get rid of them. Look at how much bigger that is. It's insane. We're very much seeing this come in. So there's going to be like a bajillion islands on here. Maybe we'll each one of us get our own private island. We just need a really good transportation system to get there. So see, now this thing here, this used to be all white. It was depicted as all white. The top of Russia was always depicted as all white. But no more. The top of Canada used to be depicted as all white. Most of Canada used to be depicted as all white. I feel like I need to put the earth back right side up. Okay, I can't think of it that way. Let's go over to Europe and see what we got going on. This sea has definitely expanded. Are we going to get the names of the seas or no? What was this? It's not black. What was this one? Was that Caspian? Why is it not labeled? Caspian, yes, it is Caspian. So this was a little bit more like bean shaped before. What is this thing? There's like a second. This wasn't on there. It's got like a puppy. Looks like it's very shallow, but still. Garabagazkal Basin. Garabagazkal Basin. Sure. Okay. So that's the new puppy. And this also, I believe, is a puppy. I don't remember that being there. It's growing a bunch of puppies. Look, there's a bunch of puppies up here. Those weren't all there. All these desert places need more water, and it looks like they're getting it. Look, there's water here, there's water here. This used to be the desert. It used to be the desert. When was it? It was some years ago where I said, hey, look, the Black Sea is going to dock with the Mediterranean, and it's just about there. There's like about one hair's worth of land in between right now. There's almost nothing between them. And what is this thing? When was it? About a year ago when I noticed all this mess in here. Looked strange. And that seems to be part of it. So it looks like this one has a puppy also. Are we going to get a name for this puppy? Does not appear so. Wait, oh. Sea of Azov. Okay. Yes, Sea of Azov. All right, let's see. Iceland. Starting to get icy. Greenland, getting a little bit less green now. Somehow I kind of keep looking to see if Iceland's going to turn icy and Greenland's going to turn green. But they're kind of like wrongly situated. So I don't know. They're going to have to dance around each other, or there's going to have to be some weird storyland about the currents warming the area, like that story that keeps the UK from being cold. So blah, blah, current, blah, blah, blah. Dang, I'm looking at the Mediterranean. It's looking bigger than I've seen it in a while. And I think it's because this area up in here, Italy seems like it's gotten pretty longer. I don't remember it being that long. I mean, it was a boot, but it wasn't a whole leg. Now it looks like it's the leg and part of the torso is on there. I don't know if it's really gotten bigger or just all this other stuff is shrunk. That might be it. But this line in here really looks quite extensive to me. And then in here, it just seems like there's a lot more in here. Unfortunately, with this layout, it's kind of hard to picture the shapes because they're not colored, like the shapes of each country. Good old Google Earth working against us. Africa's huge, Saudi huge, Iran. India used to be so big, but look, Saudi's bigger than India. India used to be so much bigger than Saudi. All right, let's look at the states here. South America, way over there. Not even close. Look at that. It's almost completely offset now. I mean, it's barely even under the United States. All right, so there, it's like, it's just a New York, Maine, only a couple of the farthest regions. So this area for me used to come down more straight, and there wasn't like this weird drumstick of Maine sticking out. So I feel like this area also has sort of withered and sucked in and withdrawn away from South America while South America went to the east. You can see the Gulf now is almost completely closed in. Now we're going to get this Caribbean Sea, which is almost completely closed in. You can see that there's islands chained through here. This has really actually made a lot of progress since I've looked at it. Look at all the Barbados is really filled in. Look at all that. Grenada. So I've been hearing a lot about Trinidad and Tobago lately. I had not really ever heard of that until the last year or so. It looks like we're getting like this whole beautiful island chain that's going to be all protected in here. Styling. Interesting story lately. They're talking about the Panama Canal being in danger and record lows, and I was kind of confused because I've never heard of that being a thing until recently. So I had just kind of in my mind saw it as like a channel with seawater on both sides. So I just figured, well, the seawater is going to flow in there and fill it. So I'm a little confused. I don't know if things have changed, but I've never heard of it being low before because the sea level is the sea level. I'm really not going to worry about it, but there you do see that we're kind of building up to potential shipping supply chain issues because we've got pirate attacks on one area. They're saying the Panama Canal is too low and they're limiting shipping and blah blah blah. So there might be some additional supply chain issues. As a seller, that's inconvenient for me. It's just like the costs go up on shipping, basically, is what happens. All right, what are you guys seeing in here? What looks different to you? Venezuela, yeah. It's weird watching Maine go further north than Washington. Oh, okay, so it's going back and forth for you. I always wonder if that's happening. It's like, are you like, if you have a flip-flop, like say it's I have not had a geological flip-flop. I don't think I've had it where it went like that and then back. So maybe you haven't sorted out your time direction or something. For me, the geology ones just march forward. The Italy's Europe stripper boot. Yeah, I know, it is. It used to be like an ordinary boot, and it didn't go all the way up to the top of the butt. Okay, what about, I mentioned the body changes have been net positive. As best I can tell, they are improvements. What about the geographic changes? That's a tough one. How do you even determine what is a good geographic change? The only thing I would say is there's definitely a lot more fresh water sources coming up everywhere. So as far as survival, that would be good. So I would definitely vote on that. And I also feel like there's a lot of protected waterways being developed. So it feels like the water system is being boned up. Beyond that, though, for some of the other phenomena like bigger firestorms, fire tornadoes, those kind of things, those are also worse. So I would say, nay on those. I'm not a big fan of those, but I tend to think that the geology ones, at least the water ones, are good. We definitely see a lot more neat animals and stuff. I would assume that's cool. I mean, that's the kind of thing humans typically like. But anything else, I don't know how I would say it. I'm like, there's a big volcano there. There's a big mountain there. Is that good? Is that bad? It used to be here. Now it's here. I don't know. I don't know even how to evaluate that kind of stuff. There's definitely a lot more cool looking stuff. Just really beautiful, neat looking stuff. So one would imagine that's good. That's the kind of stuff humans like. Alaska. Let's look at Alaska. So I haven't seen a huge lot of change in Alaska lately, other than it just got huge a while ago. But this little area keeps expanding its little tail, and now we have a secondary tail. I think I've covered that last time, but it looks like this. First we got this, now we've got this one coming in. Looks like that's gotten a little bit more extensive since last time, like right here, the second line of islands. That definitely wasn't there. It looks like we're having a waterway sneaking in here. What is this thing? I'm sure this wasn't here. Old Harbor. It's Kodiak Island. Okay. I am quite positive there was no Kodiak Island like a couple years ago. If there was, it would be like way in here and all tiny or something. There was not a giant fat island there. This is interesting. Okay, so that's what I see for Alaska. Well, look at Vancouver. Vancouver is working very hard to not be an island anymore. Some point they're going to have to stop calling that an island because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, like, if you have one little river there, does that make it still an island? I don't feel like it's an island anymore. This area has gotten very large through here. I would say is a more recent change, that right through here has gotten quite large. It's basically just gone out to the east. It's weird to see like the USA this high up too. Is strange. It's like sneaking up the coastline there. Strange, 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 strange. What's going on up here? I haven't really looked up here for a while. I don't have it memorized enough. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. I haven't looked right in here for a while. First of all, this is no longer shown as all icy. Last time I looked, I mean, there was no way that this piece was all tight on here like this. This is like really tight in here. This, okay. Part of it is probably because they're doing a differential coloration of the light blue and dark blue. But still, I mean, there was a lot more space in between here and here before. You know, the constant changing of the colorations and stuff, it definitely hides some of this. Because you see it's different, but then you're like, oh, well, maybe it's just because of blah, blah, blah. It isn't just because of that, but it's very easy to write it off that way. I feel like the whole reality is like in on it to fool me. All right. Trying to spin the earth around here. Look at that. It's so big. So way back, this would just be like the lower half of the world would be Africa. It would just have been down here. And I would not have had to spin the globe to get to Europe. And Europe is so tiny now. Look at that. So tiny. Velcro. Yeah, sorry, you're kind of late, Velcro. So that kitty was Borneo cat. Borneo Bay cat. Another, for me, a new cat. Like kind of monkey. It looks like a monkey with a cat head on it, but it's supposed to be a cat. Juno is way down the Canadian coast. See, those clouds are so irritating. You know, every time I go to this, they have a different bunch of choices on what is labeled. Silka Juno. It's... Didn't it used to be like right on the coast, Juno? I don't remember it being... Wait, I thought it was like out there. Huh. That's interesting. So Juno is here now. I thought it was out there. Dang, look at all the waterways in there. It's crazy. Why is it all black right there? What is this, all this? Huh. You know, you would think we have all these satellites that they could cobble together an image that didn't look like a kindergartner stuck it together. I mean, is it really that hard? I guess there's like a magic line here and it's going to be like purple below and like, seriously? You couldn't take like 2 images that were better suited. 10 million satellites up there supposedly transferring all these phone calls and whatever, and we can't get a decent cobbled together image. There's so many things about reality that when you really start thinking about it, it just really doesn't make sense. There's a video of a cat that sounds like it's speaking broken English with a cat voice. I do think we're heading that way. Also with the Huskies, you know, they've always been a little bit weird, noisy, but now we're seeing so many videos of the Huskies almost talking, and then you got the cats almost talking. That used to be such a rare thing, but now there's like a million videos like that. And the other thing I'm seeing is more and more videos of animals playing the piano, like kind of good. Like it used to be a cat would just walk on the piano, meh, 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 meh. But now you see these images of the cats going, yang, 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 you know, like almost playing the piano. So I think we're heading that way. And it reminds me of like the first time I saw a dog on a skateboard. This dog would manage to sit on a moving skateboard for like 2 seconds and fall off, or he would bite at the skateboard. And now you've got dogs cruising like Lombardo Street or something on a skateboard, totally controlling it, and you know, it's like next level. So I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine a cat playing the piano or something, but it really looks like we're heading there. It really does. Huskies are great. They're so talkative. You know, I had a half husky, and I probably won't get another one. They are the cutest dogs. They are so beautiful and plushy. But they fight you on everything. Everything. And not just because they want to do something else, but even just for the sake of it. Like, every last thing was a battle. Every last thing was a passive-aggressive battle, and you get home and you're tired, and you just want to take the dog out to go poop, and then they're like, no, I'm not going to poop, I'm going to hold it for 500 blocks, and then right when I get back in the house, I'm going to tell you I got to go poop, and it's just like, every day. So I'm not getting another husky. You got to be like, I love watching huskies on YouTube, talking and acting the fool and being crazy. But I had a normal dog and a husky, and that normal dog is like 50 times easier to deal with. Animals are smarter now. They can ask for help. Yeah, there's so many videos of them asking for help. I've definitely covered that before. It is weird. I saw that video preliminal that some of those videos you have to wonder if the dog is just trained maybe to do that, and it was all a setup and somebody's behind the camera directing the dog, because dogs, you can definitely very easily train them with hand signals. So maybe there was the fish on the line and they just put it on there, and then, you know, that can happen. But still, there's enough videos that are legit that I do think a lot of those videos are dogs that are just taking hand signals from the guy behind the camera, though. But supposedly NASA gets crystal clear pics of Mars, but they can't use the same tech to get the same images of Earth. I know. Like, you can't see Antarctica, but we can see Mars. I know. It doesn't make any sense. So, you know, like for me, the horses weren't, like, a lot of animals have gotten really playful, and they didn't used to be. Like, cattle didn't used to be all like dogs and pets and stuff. Horses didn't used to like to kick soccer balls around. There's a lot more going on there now. Cats did hold a grudge for me, though. They did that. They did have the survival instinct. Cats, they are not as forgiving as dogs. Let's just say some of them are, but I can't blame them, because cats, dogs are very, very forgiving and patient with humans. And I don't really expect every animal to do that. We're lucky that we get that out of dogs. Well, I'm pretty much done. I'm just like riffing now anyways. So I think it's time for me to end the show. There really hasn't been that many Mandelas. These are smaller ones. Most are from last week. I actually did look, and I looked, I didn't see a thing, and it was weird, because I just had this feeling like, you ain't gonna find nothing. You are not gonna. Now, maybe in a week or two, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big, like, load of them, but even as I was looking, and even as I started, I'm like, I'm not finding any. And you know what? I didn't find any. Maybe it was self-fulfilling, but it's just quiet. I feel weird. My dreams are weird. My consciousness is weird. I keep seeing 444 and 333. But Mandela's, it's been quiet for a couple weeks now. Be the change you want to see. Yep, that sounds good. Think good thoughts. You know all the drill. So thank you all for coming. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have a really good New Year. I'm hoping. I think it'll be wild, but I think there's going to be a lot of distractions, so there might be a lot of challenges to making the world we want this year. I think there's going to be a lot of challenges, but just do your best, and as people said, try to imagine the world you want that we'll get in the end. A nicer world. That's my plan. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.